Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Radio Redux, which I believe is episode 284. We're actually closing in on 300 episodes. How absolutely horrific. I'm Kevin, welcoming you to the show. This last period of time, Xbox restructured its restructure of its restructure and decided that the structure needed restructuring. GTA 6 was confirmed to contain crimes but no game. A man with a bid on his head might save UK politics. Sony lost every shred of goodwill they've ever had. Knights turned 30 and Sega definitely remembered. The sun became a deadly laser and turned Europe and the UK to complete ashes. America became shocked to discover that other countries have a right to win competitions too. Sega America pretended it wasn't them that ruined everything in the first place, and I buggered off for a month away from all of this and was really happy. But never mind that, I am joined today, and however many shows thereafter, depending on how things go, by he's a titan of the industry, and he won't be able to talk about several things because of that. It's Urtheart, everybody!
Yarg, I've been here for 5 weeks previously.
Yeah, well, and the one before that, I think, weren't you? You've been on quite a few. You're like co-host now.
I was running the last 5.
Yeah, I know. It was Urtheart's Boombox all over again.
Oh boy, that title's not been used for a while.
Oh, the OGs remember, which is pretty much just Twinny at this point. The OGs remember.
Probably. Maybe Gavi.
Maybe Gavi, but Twinny's definitely listening to this, and Twinny will have gone in the Discord chat and I remember this, because Twinny always does that. Twinny's the one that actually gets the references. And there we've done a Crossworlds. Everybody, look at that giant golden half ring buried in the ground over there. Quick, melt it down. We need the money. It's, coming out of it from a hidden palace, which is a palace hidden in a hidden place, which might be a palace. It's Skyblaze!
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, Skyblaze is here to talk about game and or games that you like.
It's true.
And you don't know you don't know the history of.
And in the LMC...
Nobody has heard of, not even me.
Games you've never heard of, no one's ever heard of, and may not even exist.
You want to know the craziest thing I've done recently? I bought a copy of a game from Australia, a Japanese copy of a game, shipped from Australia, to help me do an episode.
No, that sounds sensible.
That sounds sensible to me.
I will say,
hey, Australia, can you deal with all this language bullshit?
Yes.
For me? Cheers. Thanks.
Ironically, there's a book that I'm in the credits for called The 100 Greatest Games That Never Existed. And the reason I'm credited is I made the artwork for one of said games.
Nice.
I am amongst literary giants then, it seems, because Skyblaze was in a book not that long ago as well, weren't you?
I was. I've been in a couple of Dead Tree format books. I was in one of the Lost in Cult publications, and I have been in I wrote a short fiction story in an anthology for my departed friend David Mackenzie. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So Urtheart did the art within a book. Skyblaze wrote the tale with an anthology, and I'm just a cautionary tale in itself. So everything's all good. Anyway, we hope you're doing well in amongst this period of oh gods. Otherwise known as 2026 in its entirety, but this last few weeks has been a great deal of fun, hasn't it, everybody?
I mean, which part are we talking about? Are we talking that it's now colder in hell than it is on the surface of the planet?
I'm not sure who teleported the surface of the sun to, my porchway, but it was rather rude of them to do so. It was.
Meanwhile, I've been fine.
You've been fine.
Yeah, but you've not had internal temperature in your accommodation going up to 48 degrees.
No, but Skyblaze has just got Greyfor in a loincloth with a giant palm leaf that's going, just waving at them constantly and feeding them grapes. At least I hope that's the case.
Well, the advantage of living in a castle is the fact that there's like 1.5 feet of stone, so it doesn't get that hot in here for a long time. It takes quite a while to heat up that much in here.
Mm.
Yeah, no. The fact of the matter is, I keep on being told, like, open your windows. It's like, they are open. They keep telling me to close my windows to keep the cold inside. It's like, but it's hotter inside than it is outside. It's like, no, it's like 35 degrees. It's plus 40 inside. I'm opening the windows to get it to equalize.
I'm the nutter who's been to Egypt in August, so you know.
And yet I still hear that you're using a fan at the moment, so you know.
That's just for airflow.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the fan dance that we have to do every goddamn day at present, which is just like, oh, none of us have got aircon, but we do have like desk fans and standing fans that we have to specifically orientate in or out at any given point in the day. Depending.
The worst part of my day is actually just the train journey into and back to, well, mostly back to from work, because there is no aircon on the train.
I can confirm this of the trains that go through Urtheart's place. There's barely a train. There's barely a train. It's effectively a box cart on wheels.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've now got 3 models, and you've been on like the middle model, which still don't have aircon. Well, the problem is they technically do have aircon. They refuse to run it because supposedly it's to keep the cost of the trains running down, so we can keep your ticket costs down.
You mean you can keep more of the profits from the outrageously priced tickets that they sell?
Of course. Although I will give them some credit, it is still cheaper for me to take the train than it is for me to take the bus. And quicker.
I mean, there's it has been obviously just completely ridiculous. The temperature situation. I had lots of fun recently, as you guys know, and I had to literally just flee to a hotel, which sounds like a very first world problem thing. But the situation with my ever so busted internally nose, just the pressure, I think, became so goddamn bad that I just literally couldn't breathe.
Well, your office, from what I remember, was quite warm when I went there, and it was like late September, I think, the last time I was there. It
keeps the heat in quite nicely.
Yeah.
And you're continuously heating it up by never turning your PC off.
Oh yeah, it never turns off, pretty much. Oh no, it's been going off. It was going to sleep mode at the very least. I've been doing bits and pieces. I was just like, yeah. I have aircon on the way. Well,
I admit, when it got to like 36 here, I did bugger off to the cinema.
Yeah.
Because the problem with Sheffield is we have 5 rivers. So when it gets hot, it quite often gets sticky.
Ew.
Hot and dry, fine. Hot and sticky, no thank you. So
now,
it's very bad. It's very bad if you're just in a loincloth with a palm leaf. Very bad.
See, oddly enough, I find the opposite, but I think that's because I was born near the sea. I prefer the humidity.
Urtheart on his summer pirate ship with some neon pink shades on, and just like swim shorts of a husky.
I'm gonna have to make like a version of the Urtheart PNG tuber now with pink sunglasses and shorts on.
Yeah, just like
the shorts have a skull and crossbones across the backside.
No, across the groin, please. Besides that, like it's like really 80s, design colours and stuff. Swim shorts on. Maybe he's got like a pair of like snorkel goggles, but just like over one eye as an eye patch. It's like lifted up on one side, the skew width.
All aboard while we're on the secondary
All
dinghy
aboard.
ship with
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
summer holiday, the Honey Bunch, wasn't it?
That was the honey bunch, the lollipop, and the various other.
I think we saved the
ships that
lollipop for Christmas.
lollipop for Christmas. I mean, oh, excellent.
The
Urtheart's
lollipops
an
in
elf on the
charge of
shelf.
the Urtheart expanded universe.
Urtheart expands the Urtheart cinematic universe. Well, they said that. Well, there's apparently an LMC cinematic universe according to the Kev Neto trilogy. So, as it was called. But yeah, I mean, I had to go to the hotel because I just couldn't freaking breathe. But the reason one reason it gets so hot here is we're on the top of a hill, and we just get it from all ends. We're like the way that the road goes. We're the house that's on the top of the hill, so no matter where the sun is, it's really clobbering us. There's no way out. And yeah, the office in particular gets really bad. But
the funniest thing is like one of the senior members of, because most of our team don't go in every day. So for the last like 2 weeks, I have been going into the office every day because hey, aircon. And it's like, why are you in the office every day? And it's like, are you being forced to be in? It's like, no, it's my decision. 1, aircon. 2, at the moment, I've got quite a nice desk that has like a standing functionality, and it's been doing my back a world of good since I injured it. So, on top of it's helpful for me to be there for varying reasons, and they're like, just like, okay, because you're making us look bad, and we're now being asked why aren't more of the team coming in every day of the week, and we don't want to.
Yes, but you're at this point you're basically part of the foundation of Rebellion. Part of the building. It's like,
someone mentioned that.
You're so senior in Rebellion now in terms of tenure versus everybody else.
It's interesting. I'm one of the few that's kind of in the middle, because you've got the people that have been there since the Kingsley brothers started the company, and the few years. Basically, you've got your people that were there since Alien vs Predator, and the new kids on the block in the last couple of years, and then there's just me and like 4 other people in the middle.
Urtheart is the spine. Rebellion, listen to this. Start calling him the spine of Rebellion, everybody. He's the spine. He keeps us strong. So of course you get. Yeah, no, you're needed in there, offered. So that makes perfect sense.
I mean, to be fair, I don't need to be in the office. I will particularly, but
also not being funny. Yeah, aircon. But not being funny. It's nice when you have one of those middle people that is always there, like for business continuity purposes.
Well, there's also the fact I'm first aider.
The term institutional knowledge.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yes, that is.
You heard it here first. According to Skyblaze, Urtheart should be institutionalized. It's very good.
To be fair, there's already one senior member of staff who was genuinely asked, "Is there a way we can clone Earth and have one of him in each of our like major departments?"
It's like,
if you
maybe,
me,
but are you sure that's a good idea?
Dear Rebellion, have you considered this captive breeding program for Earthbart? You may not be able to clone Earthbart, but potentially all of his children. All of his children.
I think
starting down in 20 years, you'll have an army of them.
Skyblaze, I think I want to go down the Emmett Selk route instead.
Yep.
Well, it's either this or we talk about the video game industry as a whole, and that's terrible.
That's more depressing, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway,
we can talk about Masters of the Universe. I know you and I have seen.
Yeah, let's talk about, because you said you went to the cinema. I went to cinema the other day for the exact same reason. Because it was too goddamn hot. I had like 4 days, I think it was, in this hotel in central Birmingham where technically it was hotter, and they were absolutely lovely. It cost me an absolute fortune. but I needed to be in like a climate controlled room because I was in such a bad situation. I voluntarily went to a hospital, so you know it was
Good lord.
bad.
Hmm.
I rang NHS 111. They said you should probably go to a hospital, and I agreed.
Holy shit.
Unfortunately, it was so hot inside A&E that I actually left because I basically told the receptionist like I will be. This is just going to make me a lot worse. But then I found out that actually the trip down there, I was able to breathe a lot more because I was in an air conditioned vehicle. I was like, it was a climate control, but oh, okay, that's interesting. By the way, related note before we go on to Masters of the Universe. I received an appointment the other day for the fucking
Dun,
respiratory
dun,
department.
They're only like 10 years too late.
Okay. So the nose thing was pre-pandemic, so 2018 it started.
Yeah.
Good God.
Like,
We've known that I've needed surgery since 2021. I've officially been waiting for surgery for 4 years. 2 years of that, and over 2 years ago, I had my pre-operative assessment, and then they said you needed the sleep test, and I've been waiting 2 years for a sleep test, and they won't do the operation without me having a sleep test.
Well, that's interesting because you're going to have the pre-op assessment again because they're only valid for a month.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Not only that. Not only that, the situation's changed so much. I think I'm not necessarily going back to the beginning, but I think they might want to check in with me because I've got more information. Also, it turns out I'm allergic to anti-allergen medication, which is great. You know the thing that makes you get counters allergies. I'm allergic to that.
Oh dear.
Great news.
That's probably along the same kind of, well, that sucks, as my allergy to general anaesthetic.
Yeah, but it figures. It figures, right?
Yeah.
I took some because the situation was so bad. Like I took some and was like, okay, maybe it's like it's like super irritated by something. Maybe it's like dust or something like that. And I took some, and my feet turned into balloons.
Oof.
And I was just like, well, this has made the situation better. If you've ever seen Monsters University, and the bit where they're running through the tunnel and there's the things that if it makes contact with your skin, everything explodes. It was basically that. It was ridiculous.
It does seem like this is the year of LMC goes to the hospital.
LMC goes, it's like Chipmunks goes to the movies, except less so.
Yes, although at least my trips, touch wood, for the moment should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't know. I'll find out next week. Time of recording.
One dreads to think. Anyway, so me and Skyblaze both went to the cinema because because me and Skyblaze are smart people who realise that a cinema has got air conditioning, it's dark, and we can get out of the heat for a while and also see a film.
Yes.
I decided to go to the one that had one showing per day at midday, so I was pretty certain that nobody was going to go and see it. In fact, only 4 other people did. And how many people were in your showing?
About 6 or 7, I think.
So so roughly the same. And we went to see Masters of the Universe, which is I can categorize as a film I have seen.
So, bearing in mind that I was a big fan of the animated series back in the day, I have cosplayed She-Ra a couple of times, and I did see the 1980s film at the cinema back when I was a very small sprog. I mean, in terms of craft, it was probably better than the 80s film. My problem with the film was that it did too much of the kind of Guardians of the Galaxy nudge, nudge, wink, 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 smile camera sort of thing. It's like if they had just committed to the bit and just accept, this is ridiculous, but the way that you get the audience to buy into it is you treat it absolutely seriously. If they'd done that, the way that old school Doctor Who did, it would have been a better film.
I agree in the sense. I really love the 80s. We watched it on Watch Along recently on the LMC Discord. If you're not a member of the LMC Discord, we watch films and stuff on Mondays. And other times. So yeah, pop along in and join in the fun.
Films and ludicrous 80s and 90s TV.
Absolutely. We have lots of fun, basically, during this. I love the 80s film. I also love the fact that the 80s film is now in canon with the cartoon, thanks to the Netflix stuff. But yeah, totally agree. It started off really good. It was like we got a whole situation like, okay, here's Man-at-Arms being awesome.
And that costume, Idris Elba in that costume is like, mwah, perfection, no notes.
It was just like, yeah, it was just like, hey, we want to see Duncan just wreck shit. Yes. It's like, okay, so let's see that. Let's see competency. We'll ignore the fact that apparently an entire army snuck up on this kingdom with no warning.
It's like, did you not have like scouts or early warning systems?
Apparently not. No,
anything. No, okay.
No,
we're completely secure. Why would we worry about
that? But we'll have the father beat his son down. But he loves him really.
It's that was another thing. It's like they clearly had things to say about toxic masculinity, but did not stick to the landing.
No, they really didn't. But they had that. Versus, okay, so he then loses the fight, he loses all his confidence, and he becomes a drunk. And it's like, and it becomes a little bit by the numbers there, and it's like, okay, well Adam's back, and then suddenly it's like, it's almost entirely hand waved.
Yeah.
He's been a drunk for 15 years, right?
And should be basically a shell of a person unable to function and basically a wreck of a person. But no, he puts the armor on and is fine.
Yeah, no, he puts the armor on, he's fine. He's lost no muscle mass, everything's fine. He's got all of his skill. All he needed, everybody, was to just get a knife and cut his beard into his trademark moustache again, and everything was fine. I kind of like the idea that what they tried to do with Adam was like of making Adam like quote unquote the wimpy Adam from the 80s cartoon.
Yeah.
But in a modern twist. Of course the true evil force wasn't Skeletor, it was actually Adam's manager.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like, they made HR out to be this, like, they couldn't decide if it's like HR is evil and a malign force in the universe, or HR skills are actually useful. This is what I mean when they didn't stick the whole toxic masculinity landing. Because if he'd been able to use his HR skills to, actually help Duncan through his issues, or, help the people, it's like, they could have done things with that, and they just didn't.
They tried to, and there's like, oh, hey, we can talk, and it's like, yeah, we can talk, and they kind of did a guy thing in that they talked about talking without really talking about it.
Yeah,
which in itself was really good, but at the same time, just like, again, so much stuff was handled. There was loads of lovely little, nods, winks, and jabs at stuff. At the end, they all started laughing with their hands on their hips in the same animation of the car. Like they all do it. And I love the fact that it just cuts to Adam looking at them like, "What the fuck is wrong with you people?"
Also, Cringer giving them the side eye.
Cringer being a sassy. The sorceress being a sassy bitch was, I mean, again, the sorceress, the guardian of the powers of Grayskull,
doing basically nothing for the entire film.
Nothing. And then turns up as a bird, and turns up in bird form, like, in the middle.
To basically do the same thing with Adam that Odin did to Thor.
Yeah, but exactly the same. Exactly the same.
You couldn't make this even a little bit different? Come on.
I deeply appreciate the idea that oh, Tila's scared that you scared the sorceress right away. It's just like Tila interrupts. Tila interrupts for some reason.
This is especially funny.
Yeah.
This is especially funny if you remember that in the 80s series and comic canon, the sorceress is her mother.
Yes, absolutely. Which is then, or at least is like heavily inferred to the point of confirmation, and then is properly confirmed, like right at the death and again, major plot point in the Netflix stuff, by the way. Just at the end with just like bird sorceress in vision. And just going, and Adam on the floor in his like sort of purgatory version of his apartment, just like is that a talking bird? And
talking cat, you have no room to.
Yeah, there's also just turning to him in bird, like, you have a talking cat. He goes, oh yeah, that was legitimately really funny. The whole point of that solution is, oh, he's dead. It's like the whole point of him being dead being solved by yes and. Like what?
Okay then.
It's there was a bunch of stuff that was really good. There was the escape, which was like
I hate Jared Leto, but his Skeletor was great.
His Skeletor was amazing. There was several bits in there. Just like we have a dream sequence where Skeletor's like in Adam's mind.
He's such a petty bitch.
And yeah, him just like completely like tearing apart his human exile life. Just like what's this like? This is pathetic. It's like what? And then him being in that workplace that he was in, that human resources workplace, and Skeletor actually asking, not recognizing what this thing is. It's like, where are we? It's like, oh, human resources. Human resources? How disgusting.
Like even his evil has standards.
Yeah, absolutely. That seemed to be a thing as well. Just like, oh, okay. He's quite happy to be, it was very much a case of he can't. There is nobody to work with in terms of like he's very much a proper cartoon villain in the sense of I'm surrounded by idiots. They don't follow my cues. They don't get it.
He resurrects some of the insults that he used in the 80s cartoon series.
He does call He-Man a boob.
Yes.
Which was one of the most important things. Him getting the power sword, saying the words are just not working, and they're just having a top-down camera of him in the pose. It just holds on it.
Yep.
It just holds, and he just sort of looks like, am I saying the words right? It's like Evelyn going, oh yeah, those words. Maybe put some more, gusto into it. Get a bit more enthusiasm. And then just cuts away as he's just like jabbing the sword up into the air, going, ha! And then it just cuts back, and you realise he's just doing all the Skeletor noises. Yep. That's all he's doing. It's a lovely excuse. Again, lots of nods. A nice handover of the 80s film. They had Dolph Lundgren in there as just like this gym bro who
spot.
Yeah, you're in my spot during the gym. Them having a really nice piece of advice, and also him just wishing him good journey at the end, which was obviously
that was a very nice note.
That was nice. But what was really good is that the advice that old He-Man essentially gives new He-Man is what Adam uses to get the team together and motivate them. He realizes what the guy was saying, and he uses that, and I think that's lovely. It's not nearly as good as them going, hey, we've got these completely impregnable bars. It was like, yeah, but the wall's not. I loved that as a solution. Yeah. We're stuck. The bars can't be destroyed. Yeah, but the wall's of rock, mate. We've got all these powerful people. Let's do something about it.
Oh yeah.
And then it went into Guardians of the Galaxy with them all doing the big thing.
Yeah, and there was also some really weird editing choices. You know, the bit with him getting the sword out of the statue and stuff. That scene went on far too long.
There was some weirdness going on in terms of that. Yeah.
Just like the various cuts and things. It's like, why did you cut to that?
Yeah,
That's a very strange.
There was a few. Also, there's this will surprise you, Earth. Did you know that Master of the Universe had a real thing for Highlander during this?
You say that surprised me. It doesn't really, actually.
So
I was baffled by that until I saw the end credits.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, because there was additional one which you may not realize just because it's not as popular song, despite being one of my favorites. They during Adam steals the swords, he gets transported from Eternia as a kid. He loses the sword mid transit because it's a fucking world portal situation. He gets ripped out of his hands because it's a fucking sword, man. He's a kid.
And he's 10.
It's like there was a bit like made that just like, why didn't you call? It's like you lost. What do you mean you lost the sword? It's like he's fucking 10, dude. Like, leave him alone. But after he finds the sword and he steals it from basically a comic book store because it was like
called the Fright Zone, which I was like, yes,
nice. We had a whole situation of him running away from the police, and the police then came. Unsurprisingly, he's like, all this stuff's on camera, and then the very next morning he's arrested. He's sent off in a police car, and we won't talk about what happens after that. Other than the fact that the police is like...
It's implied that the police are dead.
It is implied the police are dead, yes. Because they don't come back the other way.
Nope.
Basically, Beastman turns up. There's suddenly a traffic jam, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And they go up to investigate, and then people start running scream from the other way, and Beastman turns up on Earth, basically. And then we have a whole sequence set to what's going on, because why not at that point? But the one of the police is like, because like he's got a sword, and is like, one of the police turns to him as he's arrested in the back of this police car and goes, "What were your plans then, Highlander?" To which the other one goes, "Yeah, what's your plans, King Arthur, Highlander?" Because I had no idea what to do. So we have that specifically calling out Highlander. But then, after the prison break that we just talked about, actually, with the breaking through the impenetrable bars, they all come out to Prince of the Universe, which is one of the tracks from the original Highlander film that Queen did. And is the one with the music video, which has Christopher Lambert in it, and is amazing because Connor McLeod duels Freddie Mercury.
Yep. So he's using a mic stand.
Yeah, Freddie with his mic stand versus Connor with Ramirez's sword. Yeah, on the set of the finale.
Yeah, if you've never seen that music video, I beg
it's amazing, Prince of the Universe.
Incredible.
So they have that, and then at the end, and the credits, which you mentioned, we find out
Brian May is providing the guitar and quite a lot of the music.
It's specifically credits it as like power sword chords or something along those lines. Like, so every time the power sword is drawn and there's like guitar chords, like awesome guitar chords, it's just Brian May.
Yeah,
anytime.
I was like, this sounds really Queen, and every time I heard the guitar, I was like, that's because it is in fact the Red Special, which has a very distinctive sound.
Yes. The world's greatest fireplace, everybody, the Brian May Special.
But yeah, I reckon that this film would be really good in a double bill with Flash Gordon.
Absolutely. There's definitely same energy there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. This is why I say they should have leaned into the bit more. Just go full Flash Gordon. But yeah, can I talk about the mid and post-credit scenes?
You may indeed.
Mid-credit scene, it's your boy! I know a lot of people hate Orko. I love him to pieces.
Orko specifically was people have turned their opinion on Orko again thanks to the Netflix stuff, because Orko's got a ridiculously important arc during both those series. And
also, he's doing the "and knowing is half the battle" segment, which was in the 80s.
Yeah, he's doing he does the fact that he does the what's the lesson for today.
I creased. Oh god.
I kind of like his design. I liked his design as well. It was it was just sort of raggedy enough.
Yeah, I thought that was his design was great. His voice was perfect. It's like, yes, excellent, no notes.
And then nothing else happened. Nothing else happened. There was nothing else. We all went home. The credits went, and nothing happened at all. So anyway, moving on. Okay, yeah, go on. Because I know you were excited.
So yeah, we get the thing with the Queen being like, "Yeah, I hope my other child returns home someday." And if you don't know the lore, the audience is like, "What other child?" Cuts to presumably Etheria and Adora transforming into She-Ra, which looked fucking awesome, by the way. And you get a great shot of the Fright Zone looking incredible. And a Horde soldier going, for Force Captain Adora? No, not anymore.
Not
like,
anymore. Very... my first thought on seeing this was just like... Because, of course, obviously, as soon as the Queen sort of says that, you sort of go, ooh. And then, but your next thought is, well, they're not going to do that. Because if you know the rights issues between She-Ra and He-Man, it's an absolute mess.
Except it's already been greenlit.
So it's very much a case of how have they managed to do that?
I don't know, but apparently, according to Forbes, so reputable source.
Forbes, reputable source for business and Masters of the Universe news.
Yeah, I'll put that in LMC so you can peruse that at a later date.
Adora enters carrying briefcase in snappy business suit. Enter scene.
But yeah, and they have more to work with there, because I think fight me, but She-Ra was a better show.
I cannot comment as I've not watched either, so.
One of my first VHSs was a She-Ra VHS. In atypical dad does not understand. I watched He-Man, ergo, therefore I should then most definitely be given as my main birthday present a She-Ra video. And it was a really good episode of She-Ra, so it's fine. It had the Sky Pirates. It was all good. You'd have loved it, Earth.
Excellent, yeah.
But I mean, again, I keep harking back to the Netflix one. They did tease Adora at the end of that, but they couldn't expressly say it. So I wonder it would be very nice if we had that as well.
Cartoon Network still had the rights at that point, I think.
Yeah, who knows?
To the animation, at least.
Who knows?
Maybe it's the right situation is different for live action.
Maybe. But if did Netflix please give Kevin Smith some more money for that, because that was really good by the end. Yeah. So I will say that I enjoyed the film, but when it was cringy and trying to be cringy, it was really cringy.
Yeah, it really was.
Is that just appealing to younger audiences?
It was. I mean, it. Again, it was, as Skyblaze said, it just wasn't sticking the landing on the stuff that it was trying to do. And
it's one of those hard things to balance.
For that.
Because it's really hard to get something that's really good for old school fans, but still doesn't alienate people coming in new to it. One thing I haven't watched is the Mario Galaxy movie, which someone I know said, as a Mario fan, it's great. My partner was bored shitless because they just didn't understand anything that happened. They didn't explain anything. And it's like, there's those weird barriers. It's like, it's fine to make something for fans, but then you're limiting your audience that are going to enjoy it. Whereas realistically, you want to try and get as many people in, I guess. And it is a hard balance to do when you're using an IP that already exists because people have expectations.
That Masters also suffered from we're not going to explain that quite a lot. There's like, okay, the Skeletor Evil Lyn relationship is definitely exposed. Not nearly as much as the Netflix one where they just basically just out and out say that they fuck. But Evil Lyn's like, I would like to engage in some of our other favorite activities, and Scales are like, oh yeah, yes, conquering and destroying him. And it's like, no, our other stuff. Hint, hint. Hint, hint. Hint at the thrones over there.
The actress playing Evil Lyn was great.
Oh god, yeah.
She was very good, yeah.
But the whole thing is just like every time that Skeletor touches Evil Lyn, like her skin starts burning and she starts getting like corrupted and stuff by his mere touch. It seems like that wasn't explained.
Is he doing that on purpose, or is that just like?
Yeah, we just don't. If it's that part of his curse, we just don't know. Because that would have been a nice, interesting wrinkle. It was like, oh, Skeletor literally can't touch anybody.
Yeah,
that would be a nice
little
wrinkle.
There was a after the second when she says that she'll do the ritual to give him the power of the sword. She kind of like has this look on her face, like, is this worth it? Should I just like stab him in the back? But that again, it's a weird editing choice. They linger on that for a really long time, as if to suggest this is significant, and then that never goes anywhere.
How exactly? Yeah, we mentioned the sorceress is like the sorceress buggers off basically, and effectively abandons Grayskull as far as we know, because it's just effectively a ruin when they enter. Everyone's got free access to Grayskull. I guess.
Since the sword isn't there, it's just a building, which is weird because that's not
how that works.
No.
That's very much not how that works. No, and especially during the end bit where Hawk Sorceress is saying there's like, oh yeah, the sword doesn't mean anything.
The power's within you.
Power's in you. Okay, maybe we should have strapped the small child inside Grayskull to protect it. And again, if that was the case, and as soon as Adam then crossed the threshold of Grayskull should have been just this impenetrable thing. But again, yeah, there was lots of bits of that, just like we didn't.
So there's a lot of fridge logic where it's like, wait, hang on a second. I mean, it's a film where, like Flash Gordon, you get a bunch of friends, you get a lot of booze, you get some popcorn.
It's definitely a booze. It's definitely a film we need booze for, I think.
And this is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just one of those types of films.
Yeah, it's definitely one with your mates and just point at the screen and just go, "What is that?" All good. Anyway, so that was Masters of the Universe, everybody. A film we definitely recommend seeing at least once.
Booze optional.
Booze optional. If you've ever seen He-Man and or Masters of the Universe, first of all, make sure you see the 80s one, because that's a little time capsule in and of itself.
And there's also a bunch of little nods to it in the new one.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely some choices in terms of the lines and all sorts of things. There's lots of little callbacks. And again, like we said, like old He-Man basically gives new He-Man the way to win. So that's nice. Although it didn't help matters that Dolph Lundgren looked like buff as fuck during that sequence, and versus New Adam, who just looked like. I'm sure he looks very. I'm sure we found out he's quite well defined underneath that stuff he's wearing, but at the same time, just like Dolph Lundgren looked like he could have eaten.
Yeah.
you guys.
Considering he was like about 3 inches taller than him.
Yeah, it was just it kind of didn't help. It kind of didn't help matters. Oh dear. But what could you do, eh? That was that.
Not everyone is built like Dolph Lundgren,
No, for obvious reasons. I swear he got more dialogue, by the way, in that than he probably could in the 80s.
Yeah.
More meaningful. Anyway, I will have to call this the Good Journey Show.
Find something that Earth can contribute towards.
Indeed, we should talk about that. So let's talk about things that Earth can definitely talk about. So anyway, the Xbox restructure.
Setting me up for failure already. Well, I mean, it's
as an active member of the video game industry, there is something Earth is normally very good at being able to talk about stuff, but stuff like that we do not expect Earth to be able to talk about.
Well, it's stuff like I'm not allowed to give opinions and stuff, but I'm allowed to talk about facts. And, there's some things which are okay. None of it's good, but there's some levity from them, such as Double Fine and Compulsion. Compulsion, I'm more surprised by. Double Fine, I think I discussed this with Turbo. Double Fine were probably going to be fine getting their independence back because Tim Schafer, can afford it.
He can afford it, and it's going to be like.
And he's got the contacts and stuff where he can rebuild it. He has the technology.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure, unfortunately, they'll have to get rid of a few people. Hopefully not. Again, I think Team Schafer has kept quite a tight lid on it. Compulsion is the one I'm surprised by, because I don't think they've had a successful game. I think they've had well-rated and beloved games, and I don't think any of them have done fantastically.
Compulsion are one of those studios that sadly have critically acclaimed, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's good," in the sense of it looks good or what have you, and then doesn't translate into sales. Obviously, We Happy Few was the big one. And I can't remember what the other one's called. Hang on a minute.
The recent one was South of Midnight.
South of Midnight. It's on my wish list. It looks amazing, and I haven't bought it, which is somewhat tantamount to their problems.
To a certain extent,
they're a fairly young studio, by most standards, aren't they?
2013, I think, was their first release.
Okay.
They've had a few, but they've had more releases than you would think, but you've not heard of them.
Pretty well. They've had 3 games that they consider theirs. There was 2013's Contrast, which I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Then there was We Happy Few, which is what put them on the map.
Absolutely.
And then South of Midnight.
Something else that didn't stick the landing, sadly.
Well, it's interesting because I know someone that has played it, but they played it through Game Pass, and they said it was a really cool, interesting game. I don't think I'd have ever paid for it. And that, I think, is the weird thing. Is it's like... Because I looked at it and like people going, "Oh, look at how cool the animation style is," and I just went, "No, why would you do that for a game?"
Very good at creating worlds,
yeah,
but the experience of those. We have if he was such
won a bunch of awards.
Oh god.
Game Awards 2025, DICE Awards, Annie Awards.
Again, critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
We Happy Few was such a poison chalice for them.
Yeah.
Because it was they did the initial trailer and everyone was just like, okay, definitely can get into this as an idea. This sort of drug-induced this drug-induced British version.
For Doctor Who fans, it was the Happiness Patrol.
Very much so. If you're familiar with that particular one, feel free to paint your TARDIS pink. It's all good.
Yeah, it was when it was announced. All the Doctor Who nerds were like, "Oh, it's the Happiness Patrol, but it's a video game." And if they'd kind of stuck to that, I think it would have been better. But they decided to go down this very bizarre kind of survival horror route,
Hmm.
and
I think
the two things didn't quite mesh in the way that I think they hoped that they would.
I think part of it is this will be with any games. Like most people think of this is the idealized version of what we want, but you don't know if they've play tested that and it turns out actually it's not that fun, which is a possibility. There was one of the senior developers I know said that it's really easy to develop a game that wins awards or plays very well. Designing one that does both is practically impossible, because if you design something that's unique and memorable and does something really special and cool, your average consumer doesn't want it, because they want familiarity. They want And while you may say, no, that's not what we want, you're not the average consumer. You are not the person who generally buys Call of Duty, a sports game, and one other game a year. And that is the trend for the average gamer. And even from the perspective of, just from the perspective of, you look at the games that win a lot of awards and stuff, they're either already big established things that people just vote for because they're familiar with it, or they are these weird special things. Like, the perfect example is Alien Isolation. It's remembered for being this really special thing that sticks so true to the movies. It sold like garbage. I'm genuinely surprised they're doing a sequel.
It's also, in terms of industry trends, the expectation of publishers in particular about how many copies a game has to sell is completely unrealistic.
See Raider, Tomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
is poster child for that.
You can't. I mean, this is a general thing in capitalism anyway, but you can't just be modestly successful. You can't just sell enough copies. You have to sell all the copies ever.
Some reason it's all the video game industry as a whole has gotten to this point where it's all or nothing for everything.
And part of that problem is this kind of, so obviously, your game needs to make back its costs, but that's technically not enough, because you also need to then make enough money to fund your next game. Otherwise, you're just going back into that debt cycle of, well, we're building up debt as we make the game and then have to make that money back. But on top of that, if your studio has shares, your shareholders are expecting you to make them an X amount of money on top of that. And that measuring stick is just measured partially by just general inflation, which is, skyrocketing at the moment. And someone gave a really good example as to why, I think they were talking about when the recent Final Fantasy Rebirth, the second one, it was considered a failure. And it was but they made their development cost back purely on the money that PlayStation paid them for the exclusivity. That's not enough. It has to make enough money to fund the next part and enough money to get their shareholders, which is about, and he was guessing, somewhere about a 30 to 50% profit on investment, because that's what those shareholders would get in something reliable like buildings, which just congregate money as inflation goes up and everything costs more.
So
it's a really vicious cycle.
And it's completely unrealistic, and it's not sustainable. You can't run an industry like that,
and
but certainly not an artistic industry like gaming.
That's part of it, but the other part of it is just there's a limit to that growth as well. I mean, even if you said the population would continue to increase, the problem is the resources that population have aren't increasing. And there's
it's going down. I mean, the cost of living crisis is a thing.
But, let's just take gaming, for example. We're in a point at the moment where console manufacturers are going, hey, we can't ship enough stuff, so we're going to increase the price because we can't afford to ship more stuff.
Because of the cost of chips and stuff that we need to put in these machines is skyrocketing because of other industry pressures, which I'm not going to go into because I'll start ranting, and no one wants that.
But
not in this episode. We haven't got in this episode. We haven't got enough time. Next episode, however, oh hell yeah!
We all know the reasons for it.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of microcosm of general problems in a lot of industry at the moment. It's like you can't have infinite growth forever. But nobody seems to be willing to acknowledge the fact that's a problem.
We've all got infinite time, infinite money, and there's infinite resources everywhere, as we know.
Yeah, just
that's
as soon
definitely
as
a thing.
As soon as the robots start taking over and there's no more humans left to worry about it anyway.
Hurry up! We're waiting.
Tapping
foot, look at your watch.
I'm still waiting for my fully automated luxury gay space communism. I've been waiting a while, I realise, but I'm hopeful.
Yes, but are you doing anything to contribute to its appearing? Are you using your infinite time and resources in order to make that dream a reality?
Don't forget infinite money as well.
Yeah, exactly. Infinite money.
But yeah,
Paradise is not cheap, everybody.
But yeah, Compulsion and Double Fine have kind of got, I'd say, the best case scenario for them. You've then got the two other studios, Ninja Theory and Undead Labs, who Undead Labs weren't on that pitch, but both of them, I think me and Turbo spoke about Ninja Theory because it was, oh, hey, didn't they just announce a new game? And Xbox then basically going, yeah, it was so that we could show what they're working on, so it was more likely someone would buy them. I was like, wait, what? Now, thankfully, that has kind of worked out. We don't know who the buyer for them is, or for Undead Labs. Although, I think I remember reading that Xbox is still going to fund State of Decay 3 until its end.
That just means means they've been locked into contracts, and it's cheaper for them to actually just do that as opposed to trying to get out of them.
That would be my guess, but then supposedly it's not guaranteed to be on Game Pass anymore.
Is anything guaranteed to be on Game Pass anymore at this point?
Yes, because they'll have contracts for a lot of them.
Because they're locked into contracts and it's too difficult to get out of them.
You would have thought so, but maybe this was part of the sale they've done is, they've agreed to sell Undead Studios and finish funding that project, but in order for them to accept the deal, it can't be on Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
That might be what it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna
do you want a wild speculation about who they've been sold to?
I mean, I said this to you before we started recording, but for the purposes of people who listened to the previous shows, Earth and Turbo did suggest that I would be quite I would think that Capcom would be the best choice for Ninja Theory, and I totally agree with that. They were both right to think that I would think that, because they are just such a good fit. If you look, it's like where if you looked at Ninja Theory and just like, okay, if you had to put these guys somewhere in one of the quote unquote big studios, where would you go? Who would you pick? You would pick Capcom. It just makes sense. It just seems, if you just look at it and go, yeah, that makes sense. As for the rest, I don't know. Compulsion's problem, I mean, if Compulsion and Double Fine are going to be independent again, that's great. Half of Compulsion's problems were caused by Microsoft, frankly, and Xbox. It was that initial trailer, that desire that was generated. I mean, the real viral response that We Happy Few got when it first was announced, and you saw that initial trailer with the bobbies and everything else. You was like, oh, okay, what, a 60s psychedelia version of Fallout set in the UK? Yeah, sounds great. Sign me up. But the pressures that they got on after that was to deliver something bigger than what they intended, and they never really recovered from that. Hopefully, they'll be in a better position. And it's also
now. It was put out too soon.
Yeah, it was put out too soon. It wasn't ready. Yeah. It wasn't ready. In the balance was all wrong between the three characters as a result of that. It was all sort of, they have eyes bigger than their stomach from a design point of view. Although I will say, if you've never played the DLC, actually the DLC story where it all sort of, or rather the DLC that's specifically about, okay, well, it's all gone to hell, everything's coming down, and there's going to be this massive disaster. From a narrative point of view, that's really, really strong. But
the VR kind of side story was pretty good as well.
I'll take your word for that. But there was a couple, wasn't there? There was one that was specifically like Uncle Jack related, I think, and then there was another.
Yeah, that's the one I played that for Upload VR. It was all right. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool. Right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop things there. Have you had your joy today? Well, if you're listening on Radio Sega, your joy may very well be in the form of a Sega Mixer Drive coming on and directly after this show. If you are relatively new to Radio Redux, don't worry, it's only been 20 years. But we're available on everywhere there's a podcast, basically. They're on Spotify, they're on everywhere else. There's a YouTube channel completely dedicated to stuff where you can find all the episodes, including the stuff that isn't on Spotify and Apple and all the various things due to copyright concerns. If you're one of those people like the guy who came into our Twitch the other day and was just like, "Hey, I remember listening to that show years ago. Hi, punk. How you doing, buddy?" But if you want to listen to the shows that did have the music back in the day, that's where you can find them alternatively on the Last Minute Continue website. My thanks to the lovely Urtheart and the equally lovely Skyblaze for joining me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to steam probably straight into more stuff, which you can hear next week. But that's then, and this is now, and we're saying goodbye. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This was a Last Minute Continue production. For more, please check lastminutecontinue.com.